Here's my cassava, growing really well. Look how tall it is. I'm 6 foot tall, and this stuff is way up there. There's the stalks. I have 9 plants in here. Growing very well. Just stick the stalks in the ground and they will grow. I've been getting a lot of rain and they love that. Rained again today. Here's the tangerine tree. Getting a lot of tangerines on it. Yep. Probably going to be turning orange pretty soon. You can see they're getting a little bit yellow. Something's been happening to some of them where they've been splitting open. Might be because of the rain. We've been getting a lot of rain. I was wondering if they do what watermelon do. And here's a squash plant growing from this compost pile, believe it or not. And they do root, their vines root into the ground. Pretty sure that original vine got cut by a bug or something, but yet these are growing good still. You can see there's squash growing on it. We're picking them as we eat them, and I've been having squash every night. These are really good with salt and pepper. There's one that's getting close to being ready. They're all over. You can see the vines. I didn't even plant this. It just popped up out of this compost pile. I've been wanting to do some work on my compost pile, but I can't because of the squash. I don't want to damage it. Couple of fence lizards joining me. There's a baby over there too. They're such curious animals. Every time I come over here, they like to check me out. Well, just jumped onto the compost pile. You can see some fresh ones that are growing, and a lot of big ones that are ready to be picked. We just pick them as we're ready to eat them. There's one. There's another little critter. I missed him. There's some more. And again, I've been wanting to do some work in my compost. I would have moved all this compost, but I don't want to damage the squash. So I'm just waiting for them to finish up and then I'll get back on my compost work. Yeah, there's a bunch of them all over. Look at them. They are really tasty. Little squash costs $10 at the grocery store. Maybe more nowadays. Didn't even plant them. They just popped up out of the compost all on their own. So, pretty cool little surprise. It's one of the best things I have growing this year. Compost squash. Try it out sometime. This is from a stalk that I planted last year. I pulled it up when I was getting my cassava garden ready by accident. I wasn't really trying to pull it up, but it just came up. I was going to replant it, but my wife took it and she replanted it in her garden. And look at it. The thing's growing great. That's just one plant. Look at that. That thing is healthy. Look at the stems. Those are some thick stems. And it is tall. Wow. It's way up there like Jack and the Beanstalk. And here are some bitter melon. Let's see if I can find one. I know there's a lot that are ready. There's one right here. They just hang there. That is bitter melon. And if you're asking me, are they bitter? The answer is yes, they are bitter. Very bitter. They're healthy. They're tasty if you like bitterness. And again, this is a plant that we did not plant. It just grew on its own, and that's how they grow every year. We never plant them. They just pop up random places. And my wife just lets them grow, and they just grow so well. Look, this one's mixed up with all sorts of stuff. I can see some cassava mixed up in it. Some, I forget the names of some of these things that she has growing. Ube, some other type of squash that she grows. And she did plant those. All those other things she did plant, but not the bitter melon. Growing on that scare deer. It's all over. These yellow flowers, those are all the bitter melon. Pretty. Yeah, there's things mixed up in it. We try to keep them separated, but these plants just like to get together. They support each other, help each other on their growing process, I guess. Pretty little flowers. That's bitter melon, and yeah, there's a lot of these. She's harvested a lot of them. She harvests them as she wants to eat them, and they just keep on putting out more and more and more until the winter comes, and that's what kills them is the winter. Once it does actually turn to winter around here, which we have like a couple days of winter. But anyway, there's more things. Here is sweet potato. Again, something we did not plant. Little lizard there. Guardian of the sweet potato. They get a little shy. Look how tiny he is. Cute little guy. Jumping around. That's his little world in there. She does eat the greens. This is getting a lot of greens. The deer eat them too. They love them. I don't know if she'll get to them first or they will, but It's getting quite a bit of them, and yeah, she'll go through and pick all these right here, these fresh ones, these new ones. You'll see them all over. And they are tasty. I'll eat them. I like those too. A little slimy, but they're pretty good. Just don't overcook them. And moving on, here are ube, purple yam. My wife loves these. These things grow huge yam. They are bigger than the size of a football. I have a video of my wife digging one up, man. That thing was massive, like 3 footballs. And they just crawl up these stakes. They just love to crawl. Here is a moringa or moringa. Got these in a few different places. She let me transplant a couple that she was growing. I'll show you those too. Here's my passion flower. I bought that at PSG, Pensacola Seed Garden. And I have it growing up. I want it to crawl up into that tree. Create a canopy in the tree. I think it's going to follow that, but it's not really doing it. They're crawling over this way. I don't know, we'll see. Of course, my sunflower I love. These okra, I don't think are going to make it. I don't think they're big enough. There's not enough season left. But you never know. Those are just seeds that she threw in the garden, and then she transplanted them and just see what happens. It doesn't hurt to try. They are very small though. We are talking the middle of August. One more official month of summer. And I say official because around here, summer goes all the way into stinking December. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Wow, cool, look at these. These are some corn. I just noticed something about them that's kind of cool. Some corn I planted for my wife. She loves corn. She had a bunch of corn last night for dinner. Bought them from the store. She had like 5 cobs of corn. They were good too. She shared one with me. But look at these. This is the peaches and cream. I can tell by the color of the, wow, look at all that. Man, that is a lot of pollen. You can tell by the color of the flower. And here are Golden Queen. Wow, they got my hands really dusty doing that. Look at that. Boy, they are loaded with a lot of pollen. I guess that's good for the corn. I hope it gets on the corn. We'll see what happens with these. So far, they're pretty small. They got their flowers early and they're spindly and small. I don't know. Here are peppers. And these are growing good, and they will give a lot more peppers. All these flowers will sprout. These will grow late into the year. They can tolerate the cold once they really take root and get going. So my wife picks the peppers as they go, so there's not a lot of peppers on them, but you can see a few. These are spicy peppers. That one's not, that's a poblano. Kind of small, those things get pretty big. Another thing that just grew on its own, and check it out. My wife started planting these papaya, and now they just pop up on their own place to place. She took this one and transplanted it over here. And wow, it really is growing good. This thing is good 7 feet tall. And yes, those are papaya. But no, they probably won't ripen in time. But you never know. There's a ton of them on there, man. Wow. How many? Like 12 on this one spot. You can see there's many more that can be popping up. These flowers smell really good. They're like a sweet nectar. Yep, a papaya tree. Really pretty. Pretty little plant, even if you don't actually get papaya. It's just nice to look at. And fig trees over here. Lots of figs growing on them. Figs all over here. The birds love them, the animals, we eat them. And the lemon tree is growing good. It's got a lot of lemons on it. It spreads out more as the lemons get bigger. Look at these lemons. There's a bunch of them all over. Got a lot of grapefruit going. Yep, it's gonna be getting some good grapefruit. These, a lot of times, they take a while to actually ripen. It won't be until possibly next year before they're actually ready to be picked. But then once they start to ripen, I'll have grapefruit for several months, and yes, I'll eat every one of them. I love them. They are so good. They're so citrusy and sweet and juicy and just really tasty. Man, look at this area. That is covered. Lots of grapefruit. And they are growing good. I transplanted these. These were in pots. Very little root. They got really wilted when I first planted them. That's why I had to prop them up with these bamboo. They don't need those bamboo now. They are really growing great. They're getting new growth on them, new leaf. They've grown taller, healthier. And then behind them are the banana tree. And the banana tree has a lot of sprouts on it. This is like the second or third year for this banana tree. And it is growing great. Look at that. Sprouts way inside. I see a slug there. My fish love those. Great way to end the tour. They're green tree lizards. You see his ribs. need to eat more bugs.